Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're now on chapter 4, which has 42 verses. The title is Transcendental Knowledge. So there are two departments of knowledge: transcendental knowledge and material knowledge. As I mentioned in the beginning, Bhagavad-gita is the beginning book of transcendental knowledge. And Advaita Chandra Das, what book would one read next after Bhagavad-gita for more transcendental knowledge? Srimad Bhagavatam. And then after that, what's that? And what did you say? After Chaitanya Charitamrita, what would you say? Very good. Huh? Brahma Sanghita. After that, you can go. There's one quote. Prabhupada says that Brahma Sanghita, that's the highest. He did say it. As I said, what did I say Krishna told me in my heart? Meditate on that. You remember? 2017, you'll see. Big breakthrough. Is that what I said? What? Oh. I did not say anything about business. I didn't say that either. I didn't say that either. All right. So, now I will ask a question. This is Saraswati Devi Dasi. She is joining us. I know her for many years from New Dwarka. Very nice. And she does nice kirtan. If you want, you can lead the kirtan tonight. She can play harmonium and sing. Yes? Okay. All right. So now I want to ask some questions. Are we ready for questions? So since we're going to study transcendental knowledge, who can tell me what is the beginning first lesson of transcendental knowledge? Yes? No. No. Thank you. I have said this 1 trillion times. Well, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Now, someone may say, prove it. So I will prove it. Did I not say that Bhagavad-gita is the beginning of transcendental knowledge? Nobody objected, right? Yes, no, maybe? Is Bhagavad-gita the beginning of transcendental knowledge? Okay. What is the first lesson that Krishna speaks in Bhagavad-gita? That's why I say that's the first lesson of transcendental knowledge. That you're not the body, that you're spirit soul. The first 20 verses where Krishna begins his instructions. Okay. Let us go now to the first section, because I've broken out this chapter into different sections. So, the first 3 verses, I give the title, Who Can and How to Understand Bhagavad-gita. So it's 2 things. Who can understand Bhagavad-gita, and how to understand. Two different things. Who's qualified? And then the next question is, how do you actually do it? Let's see what Krishna says. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan. And the Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu, in turn, instructed it to Ikshvaku. So that's the history of the Bhagavad-gita in the universe. Okay? Now, the next sentence. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme. So that is what Bhagavad Gita is, right there. What Krishna just said, that is what Bhagavad Gita is. The ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme. So if somebody asks you, what is Bhagavad Gita? Here's one of many answers you could give. You can safely say, oh, Krishna says, it's the ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme. Relationship with you. That's what it's all about. You and the Supreme. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you. So this is Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna is instructing Arjuna. Is told to me by you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Now, I'm going to ask questions. Don't overthink it. Answer me in terms of what we just read, okay? Don't overthink it. Look at what we just read. I'm going to ask questions. Answer me in terms of what we just read. Who was the first recipient of Bhagavad Gita? Very good. Now, what is the, how should I say? Oh, what kind of science is this Bhagavad Gita? What? Ancient. There was another word before that. What's that? Supreme. Supreme. So it's ancient. Very good. It's supreme. And who understood the supreme science through the chain of disciplic succession? Who? Who understood it? The saintly kings. Very good. Did you do all the Krishna book exercises?
Not the whole. I did maybe.
You did some, okay. Yes, you know my methodology. You're scoring 100%. So it was the saintly kings. Why is Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita today? It was broken. Very good. See how easy my exams are? Very easy. Just got to stick to the material. Very good. Just like my famous Brahman test. Right? You took it. If you studied the material, you were able to answer the questions. Very good. Now, Why is he speaking it to Arjuna? Why? He is friend and devotee.
What is first? Out of two, which is first and second?
What's first? I would say they go hand in hand. If you're Krishna's friend, you have to be a devotee. So I would say first you have to be a devotee. Yes. Lord Chaitanya was asked that question. What's a devotee? Do you know what he said? What's the bottom line definition of a devotee? When Lord Chaitanya was asked this question, you know?
Remember Krishna?
That's not what he said. Bottom line definition. Does he chant Krishna's name? That's it. If you chant Krishna's name, you're a devotee.
In any form, anywhere.
What's that?
In any form, anywhere.
If you chant Krishna's name, according to the Lord Chaitanya, you're a devotee.
He didn't say what he said Krishna's name. Krishna's name could be Purushottam or Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, one of Krishna's names. Okay. So the two qualifications to understand Krishna or Bhagavad-gita is you have to be devotee and friend. Doesn't say you have to be a Hindu. Doesn't say you have to be Brahman. Just have to be a devotee and a friend of Krishna. That's all. Got nothing to do with anything else.
How do you become a friend? Just by saying it? Just declare it?
How do you become anyone's friend?
Just handshake with them?
A friend means, what does a friend mean? You're somebody's well-wisher. You don't want to see any harm to that person. So, in terms of Arjuna, the friendship with Krishna was well documented. For us, being a friend of Krishna means that we're not ashamed to admit to people, yes, I am Krishna's devotee. We're not embarrassed to say, I'm Krishna's devotee. We don't hide and try to hide ourselves that I'm Krishna's devotee. And I want all good for Krishna, his devotees, and Krishna's movement. I do things to support Krishna, his devotees, and his movement. A friend means, no, it's not just you say it. That's called fair weather friend. Friend means that in times of need, you're there for your friend. Everybody knows. You really know who are your friends when you're not doing good. That's right. Yes, yes. Friend means, like I said, you're always well-wishing. Anyway, as I said, because you asked the question, what's first? What's first is be a devotee. And what did I say Lord Chaitanya said makes you a devotee? Do you chant Krishna's name? That's it. If somebody is chanting, then they have a chance to get out of Maya. But once the chanting stops, nobody can help that person. Because now they're fully in the grip of Maya. You stop chanting, then the philosophy, then the mental, and what comes out of the person's mouth is going to be all crazy stuff. But if somebody is chanting, it's solid. I don't know about you, me. I can talk. If somebody is a chanter, No problem talking. Somebody's not a chanter, the communication is going to be static. If they chant, Haribol. Okay. Shall we go on to the next section? Oh, do we have questions on this section? Okay. If there are no questions. Now the next section. This is a nice, powerful section. This chapter 4 has got lots of powerful sections. So the next verses 4 through 8. Understanding Krishna's transcendental position. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Because from Arjuna's angle of vision, Krishna and him are about the same age. They're contemporaries. So this is a reasonable doubt in Arjuna's mind. Right? All Arjuna knows that Krishna is his friend and they're related. Right? Kunti was the sister of Vasudeva, right? So there's blood relation, you can say. Okay. Yeah. Kunti was Krishna's auntie. Okay. So Arjuna's question is reasonable. The personality of Godhead said, so why throughout Bhagavad-gita does it say Sri Bhagavan Uvacha and not Krishna Uvacha? Why? Yes, but that doesn't say why he's saying that instead of Krishna. There's a reason why he's saying Bhagavan instead of Krishna. What's the reason?
To prove that he has all the opposites. Bhagavan what means all the opposites.
So, okay, good. You're almost there. You're almost there. Okay, but you have to finish the thought. There's another half. In other words, yes, that's true, but you're missing the...
So it's like the people's mind, they don't think it's one-sided. That Krishna is, the name Krishna. He wants to prove that Krishna is the same person who has all the opposites. So he wants to say Sri Bhagavan.
Okay, that's good, but there's some little element that you're missing. This is good. There's one little aspect that another reason. There's more.
Is it so people would take his word seriously because he's God rather than Krishna?
Very good. So that's the other aspect. Because you know as well as me, a lot of people don't accept Krishna as God. So if he puts Krishna, people will think, well, that's just Krishna. It's so it's Krishna. Or, what difference? We'll put, Donald Trump said. But by putting Bhagavan, he's hammering to the reader, don't think that this is some ordinary person speaking. That's just somebody's opinion. So you had almost the complete answer. Her answer is the complete answer. Yes, he wants the reader to understand this is the authority, this is the personality of Godhead. Otherwise, the reader might think it's just some person. Right? You read an article written by some person. Okay, you can take it or leave it. Right? What's that?
If you prove that he's an authority on that subject, then you pay more attention.
Yes, exactly, yes. So, Bhagavan, now that's important, that's significant. Okay. Many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, But you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Although I am unborn, and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Okay, so the same thing. Look at the text. I'm going to ask you questions. You answer according to the text. This is how you learn. This is how you learn the subject matter. Okay. Are you ready for the first question? Okay. So in this section, what is Arjuna's doubt? What is Arjuna's doubt?
If Krishna is in age, is less than the sun god. So how is possible that he instructed Bhagavad-gita to the sun god? Because he's thinking Krishna is same age as him.
Very good. Yes. How could Krishna, if he's the same age as Arjuna, right? And that was done millions of years ago. When he spoke Bhagavad Gita to the sun gods, that was millions of years prior. So yes, good. Now, Krishna's response. Look at the text. This is a thought question. The first statement or first response by Krishna mentions a topic that's first mentioned at the beginning of Krishna's instructions of Bhagavad Gita. What concept is Krishna mentioning by his first response? What's that? Who? Is that what we learn in chapter 2? That Krishna is transcendental?
No, we take birth after.
Ah, there you go. Yes. Many births both you and I have passed. So, that topic was brought up right at the beginning. Right? Because that's one of the arguments Krishna used to prove you're not the body. Because if you're not the body, you're a soul, and you always existed, then you must have had other bodies, other births. That was the first thing in chapter 2, right? Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, right? For the soul there's never birth nor death, etc. So they have had many births. Now, the next thing that Krishna, look at the text, because you don't have, memory. What is that called when you, yeah. So look at what is in the next statement proves the difference between God and the living entity. Yes. Excellent answer. Very good. This is how we learned Prabhupada's books. You have to think. You have to work. This is not sense enjoyment. This is not like your typical Hindi thing where the guy gives an entertaining class. No, this is school. Harsh. Gonna make you think. We're not having a party. I'm making you think. All right, good, Rome. Proud of you. You tell your kids you got an A today. All right. Now, Krishna, next in his response, says 3 things about himself. He says 3 things about himself. What are those 3 things he says next? He's unborn, he had transcendental body. Good. There was one, I guess you could say 4. So, okay, here's the next question. Krishna explains something about the transcendental body. He gives an adjective. He gives a description. What? Never deteriorates. So that's like an extra added, transcendental body, meaning it doesn't deteriorate. Does your material body deteriorate? Yeah, you see it every day. Right? We know it's deteriorating. But Krishna's doesn't. That's why, how old did Krishna look on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Yep. Or sometimes Prabhupada says 24, 25. Between that range. But how old was he actually? Yes. Not bad. Look at me, I'm 66. I don't look anything like I was at 16. I certainly didn't have this fat stomach. But Krishna looked, yes, very good. And the last thing, the Lord of all living entities, right? You said that? We mentioned that? Okay, very good. Now, this word millennium is sometimes defined differently. Do you know what millennium means in this context? What does the millennium, because millennium can mean different things. Who knows what millennium means in this context? How often does Krishna appear? Krishna Kumar! Excellent, Krishna. Oh, you just made my new year. See? You are learning something. You have learned something in Bhagavad-gita. That's excellent. That's so good. Now, the reason why the context is a day of Brahma, because it says my original transcendental form. So that's the form of Krishna. Because other incarnations of Krishna are happening besides, not just in the day of Brahma, but once in the day of Brahma, Krishna in his original transcendental form descends. So from that angle of vision, Prabhupada says, Krishna recently came. Was recent. Because of day of Brahma is millions of years. It was only 5,000 years ago. So, mathematics.
And then right after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Krishna comes right after.
Very good, Vaita Chandra. Of course, you have gone very far in your studies. Very good.
When Krishna comes in that Dwapar Yuga, and the Kali Yuga following that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes following this.
He also only comes once in a day of Brahma. Which is why Durga Mata, right? Durga Mata, after or before she got initiated by who? Who initiated her? Who gave Durga Mata Hare Krishna mantra? Nobody knows? Haridas Thakur. I've told that story. She came to him 3 nights trying to tempt him. But Haridas was Hare Krishna. After the 3rd night, she said, I am the illusory energy. I have tested everyone. I have defeated everyone except you, Haridas. From my husband, I got the Ram mantra because Lord Shiva is a Ram Bhakta. Okay? So, Durga Mata said, from my husband, she only has one husband, right? Doesn't have two husbands. Yeah, Shambhu. Okay. She said, now, from you, Haridas, I want Krishna mantra. Then she said, because of Lord Chaitanya, there's a flood of love of Godhead. And then she said, if somebody doesn't drown in that flood of love of Godhead, they're not going to be liberated from millions of kalpas. What's a kalpa? It's a day of Brahma. So, Lord Chaitanya's golden age lasts 10,000 years. We're only 500. So make sure you get swept up in that ocean of love of Godhead.
That's why this Kali Yuga is very, very fortunate.
Yes.
When Krishna came, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
Yes. Yes.
holy name came, so you can really get liberation very fast.
Right. And Durga Mata's warning, you don't get delivered, it's going to take you thousands of days of Brahmas. What's going on? What? Hare Krishna. What is more better than this class? All right. Shall we continue? All right. Next question. Now the next question is, according to this section, when does Krishna appear? When does Krishna appear?
Whenever there is a decline in religion practice.
That's it. When there is a decline in religious practice. And therefore, when there's a decline of religious practice, necessarily there's what kind of rise? Irreligion. Very good. Who does Krishna come to deliver? The pious. And who does he annihilate? Miscreants. And then there's a third reason. What else does he do? Reestablish the principles of religion. Now, thought question. Thought question. Think now. What is the conclusion of Bhagavad-gita? And now answer me. What is this religious principle that Krishna comes to establish? What is the conclusion of Gita? That's your answer. What is the religious principle Krishna comes to establish?
Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to Krishna.
Perfect answer, 100%. There is no other answer other you could say devotional service, because that means the same thing. But you know, yes, that's the exact answer. Perfect. Thank you.
That's kind of funny. The religion he teaches is to abandon religion.
Yes, yes. Same thing when Buddha preached. He said, don't follow the Vedas, follow me. But he's God. So it's a trick. But we don't follow Buddha because we know what was Buddha's purpose. Buddha's purpose was just to get the people to stop killing animals. That was the only thing Buddha was trying to do. Because at that time, the people were simply needlessly slaughtering animals. So he just wanted to get that stopped. And they were doing it in the name of the Vedas. So he said, don't follow the Vedas, because the Brahmins were misrepresenting. And the people were thinking it's okay to kill animals and eat. It's like most of your religions, Christianity, Muslim, they allow meat eating.
Like they say, Jesus was eating a meat in his dinner.
Jesus didn't eat meat. He one time ate fish, not meat. Okay. Okay, very good. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra.